everybody, welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan. Today I am showing you guys some easy vegan lunch ideas that are healthy and delicious and perfect for those of you that have gone back to school. How's that going, guys? How's that going? So for this video, I'm partnering up with iHerb.com once again. And if you guys have not heard of iHerb.com, they are an awesome online store that sells tons of natural and organic items, over 5,000 grocery items, and they ship to over 160 countries worldwide. And their customer service team provides service in 10 languages. So wherever you are in the world, you probably have access to iHerb.com. And I have been using iHerb over the years for a very, very long time because they've got tons of items. And even if I can't find something at the local store, I may be able to find it on iHerb.com because they've got a very wide selection of vegan friendly items and just awesome natural products. I'll leave a link to them down below, of course, and many of the products I'm using in this video are from iHerb.com, and I will mention them as we go along through the video. So the recipes I'm going to show you guys today are focused on healthy, whole, plant-based foods and lots of organic and natural ingredients that are very, very good for our bodies, okay? And I always say it's better to prepare and bring your own lunches instead of going out and buying lunch every single day because A, that is expensive, and B, it's probably not as healthy as making your own food, because at least when you make your own food, you know exactly what's going into your food. So without further ado, let's get on with our first recipe. As always, all of the measurements, ingredients, and written recipes will be written in a blog post, and that will be linked in the description box down below. So don't forget to check that out if you want the full recipes. First thing I'm going to show you guys is a super trendy and very, very Insta-friendly DIY ramen in a cup. So first thing we're going to need is some vegetable broth or something to flavor our ramen. This, of course, I got from iHerb, and I am just sticking a little bit of that in the bottom of a glass jar. And then I'm going to also add a little bit of artisanal organic tahini, which I got from iHerb as well. And this is going to give it a little bit more of a creamy consistency for your broth. And then I'm also adding some sriracha here and some corn. Now you can obviously add whatever fillings that you want. For example, I'm adding here some frozen edamame beans, which I love. And the beans are a good source of protein, and I do recommend adding some protein to make it more filling, such as tofu, which I'm adding here. And for the ramen, I'm using this rice ramen from Lotus Foods, which you've seen before, which again I got from iHerb. I already cooked it up according to the instructions, and I'm just adding 1 serving of that into the jar. And to top it off, I'm just adding some baby spinach and some chopped green onion. Now, I don't recommend actually filling this up all the way to the top like I did here, because we do need to add the hot water when we're ready to eat it. So you can seal this up with the lid and leave it in the fridge, and when you're ready to go to school, just grab one, and when you're ready to eat it, just fill it up with some boiling water and let it sit for about 2 minutes before eating. Second recipe is going to be a cold soba noodle salad, once again in a jar, just because it is so pretty in a jar, but feel free to use whatever lunch container of your choice, okay? Yeah. So we're gonna make the dressing first. We are taking some of that same tahini and putting some of that in a bowl, and some rice vinegar, some soy sauce, and I'm using this agave nectar from iHerb to sweeten this dressing. We're just going to add some of that in there and mix it all up. This is optional, but I'm adding a small amount of sesame oil and also a little bit of garlic powder and mixing it up again. So I'm just going to add this dressing to the bottom of the jar. And I'm adding some tofu. This is just medium firm tofu. And I'm also adding some fresh carrots that are chopped up, some chopped up celery, and some bell pepper. And then for the soba noodles, I'm using this brand from iHerb, and I just cooked it up according to the instructions. It's very easy to cook soba noodles, so I'm just adding a layer of that in there and then stuffing it with some more vegetables such as spinach, and I'm also adding some corn there as well and topping it up with green onions. So yeah, that is it. All you have to do is seal it up now, and then you can just bring it to work or school. And if you are ready to eat it, you can just shake it up, or you can actually turn the jar upside down and then just let the dressing seep through. Probably don't want to stuff it as much as I did, of course, as always, because I overstuff everything apparently. But yeah, there you have your salad in a jar and ramen in a jar. The next recipe is going to be a super cheesy, creamy spinach pasta, and it is so good, you guys. Definitely try this out. First thing I'm going to do is cook up some of this organic quinoa macaroni from iHerb. This is gluten-free, and it's actually really good for something that's gluten-free. Second thing I'm using is this Go Raw pumpkin seed thing. These are just sprouted and salted pumpkin seeds, super yummy, and pumpkin seeds are supposed to be very good for us. So that is why I'm adding this in there. And I'm also adding some cashew nuts, once again from iHerb. And we're gonna add some of those into a bowl, and I'm gonna add some boiling water in there to soften. And then while that's happening, we can cook up some garlic. So on a pan, add a little bit of oil, and I'm just adding some minced garlic, and I'm just going to brown it, okay? I find that when I do this before adding it to a sauce, it just makes it taste a million times better. So in a blender or a food processor, I'm adding some of that drained cashew and pumpkin seed mixture, and I'm also adding that garlic, and I'm gonna add some plant-based milk, a little bit of lemon juice, some basil, some salt, and of course, lots of nutritional yeast. And then we're just going to blend that up until it is a nice creamy consistency. And don't worry if it's like slightly thick, because we're going to put it back into the frying pan and add a little bit of water to thin it out a little bit. Now this part is optional. You could have just added the pasta in there and then just mixed it up, but I'm adding some spinach for some added nutrition. So I'm just adding a little bit of spinach, and of course the spinach will wilt to the size of nothingness because that is spinach. We're gonna add a little bit of water as you go, and then we're just gonna add that pasta. Mix it up. Now the measurements I used, which obviously will be in the blog post as I mentioned earlier, it is good enough for about 2 servings. So you could prep this in advance, make 2, 3, 4 servings, however many you want, and then just bring it to work or school and you can heat it up and eat it. It's actually good when it's cold too, but I do prefer it warm, and it's so good, guys. Like, try this out. It's like super creamy and like a lot of flavors, and I think the pumpkin seeds added a really nice flavor, so definitely give it a go. Alright, our next recipe is going to be a quinoa salad with a lemon yogurt dressing. And yes, we are going to make our own vegan yogurt. You heard me right, folks. It is actually really surprisingly easy to make your own vegan yogurt. I am just using 3 of these probiotic tablets from, or what are these called? Capsules, tablets? I don't even know. This is from iHerb, of course. We're gonna use 3 of these, empty them out into a glass jar, and then we are going to pour some soy milk. Now you wanna use a soy milk that is only soy and water, no other ingredients. You can use other milks as well. I haven't tried with any other milk. And then you wanna mix it up with a wooden spoon or chopstick and cover it up with a breathable kind of washcloth or kitchen towel, whatever these are called, and then you want to let it sit outside in room temperature for about 24 hours, maybe longer if you want it thicker. And then after about 24 hours, this is what my soy yogurt looked like. Just mix it up like that, and oh my gosh, it is tangy, it is yogurty, and I just want to thank High Carb Hannah for the inspiration. Her video will be down below in the description box. Alright, now we have our yogurt. We're going to make our quinoa. So this is the quinoa I'm using from Bob's Red Mill, and we're just going to measure that out and cook them according to the instructions, okay? So just some water, and then you want to bring it to a boil and do all of that jazz. And while that is cooking, we're going to make the rest of the yogurt dressing. So I am using some lemon here, okay? Some lemon juice. We're going to add some of that yogurt into the lemon juice, mix it up. And we're also adding a little bit of that same agave nectar that we used earlier for the sweetness. Mix that up, and this creates a really nice lemony, yogurty flavor, and I find it delicious. And then because I'm too lazy to chop up vegetables, I'm just using a food processor to finely chop some carrots and celery to add to my quinoa salad. And then while my quinoa was cooking at the very end, I just added some broccoli so that I would cook the broccoli a little bit. And then once everything is done, I'm just gonna put it into a nice bowl, and you kind of want to let it cool down first because we're aiming for a cold salad. And I'm not sure how predictable I'm getting, but I'm adding some edamame beans, of course. And then we're gonna pour in some of that dressing. Obviously, you can use however much of the yogurt dressing that you want. It's very healthy, so feel free to just use however much you want. And then I'm gonna add some green onion because I love green onions. And that's it. You can pour some more dressing on top, and then you can take this to work or school, and it's yummy. It is slightly sweet and very like tangy, yogurty, lemony. It's very, very good. And it's very good for your stomach because the probiotics are very, very good for our stomachs. And last but not least, I'm going to be making some fresh spring or summer rolls, whatever these are called, with a very delicious creamy tahini dressing, which I love. And I'm warning you guys right now, I don't actually know how to make these rolls, so they are going to be ugly, but they're still going to be delicious. Okay, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is cook up some tofu strips. So I just cut up some firm tofu into strips like this so that they can fit into the roll, and I'm just cooking them on each side for a few minutes until they're nicely golden brown. Okay, that's how they look like, yes. And for vegetables, you can use whatever, but I'm using some fresh romaine lettuce. I'm also using some strips of celery and carrots and snap peas. And then I'm using this brand from iHerb. This is the Thai rice paper spring roll wrappers, and these are a little bit small, so you're gonna get some small, cute little spring rolls. So this is my first time making these, okay, so please bear with me. Like I said, these are not going to be pretty, but I don't know, I just kind of followed some tutorials on YouTube. But I still couldn't really figure out how to make it look pretty because that is just me, okay? But these are still going to be edible. It's still going to taste good. So that's what matters to me. And these rice paper wrap things, they're actually relatively easy to work with. Like I thought they would rip really, really easily, but actually they didn't. But for some reason, I still couldn't make it look that pretty. Actually, my mom is really good at rolling these things. So I'm gonna try to learn from my mama, okay? But yeah, I fold it like a burrito kind of. So you just kind of like put all the stuffing in, and then you just kind of want to fold it from the bottom and then fold the sides and then roll it up. Now, I don't know if that's the best way, but that's what I did. And yeah, watch some other tutorials on YouTube about how to wrap these. But I'm just showing you for inspiration, you know. And for some of them, I just added spinach instead of romaine. I mean, you can feel free to, like I said, use whatever fillings that you want. Now that we've rolled up the ugly spring rolls, we are going to make our tahini dressing. I am juicing some lemon. There's a lot of lemon in this video, and there's also a lot of tahini in this video, which I'm adding next. Tahini is very, very delicious, and I recommend using it for many, many different recipes. I'm also adding some agave nectar, which again, we've seen a lot of in this video. And look at this creamy consistency, yummy. And I decided to add a little bit of hoisin sauce that was in my fridge, and we're gonna mix that up. The hoisin sauce is optional, but I do recommend it. It goes very, very well with these spring rolls. And then yeah, there you go. You can just dip it good, and then there is your lovely, I would say this is a snack, not really for a meal because it's not really enough unless you have like a bunch of these, but it's so good. Try it out. Hopefully you are better at rolling these than I am, and you're better at making them look pretty. But that's it for that recipe of these lovely spring rolls with creamy tahini dressing. Alright you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you guys want the written recipes and all of the measurements, I have them in a blog post down below, which I will link in the description box. And don't forget to check out iherb.com for their awesome products. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my very next video. Bye!